Let's begin. Hello, everyone. I am very excited to join this overall AI in product management conclave, something very buzzwords that is running in the industry. Everyone wants to know what's going on in the AI and how product leaders, product managers are really using AI in all the different facets of the entire product lifecycle management. I'm Sudiptaa Choudhury. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer at Shorterloop.com, and I'll be moderating the session. With me, I have industry leaders from the, as you see on my left-hand side at a very high, in the first row, I have Vikram Bhat. He is the Chief Product Officer at the stealth startup that he is building right now. I have Kshitij Srivastava. He is working as a IT and a service company. You all know it. It's Infosys. And he's working as a product strategy person. And I then have Shobhit Saxena. He is the director of product at LoadShare Networks. Definitely, I hear some background noise. Some housekeeping audience, if you can mute your lines. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah. So going back to Shobhit, Shobhit comes with, almost decades of experience, and I will have a detailed background introduction for all of our speakers, and it would be very interactive. I then moved to Twinkle Nebhani, and she is working as a VP in Goldman Sachs. That's Twinkle. So let's get started. We really want you to be, make it really engaging audience. If you have any questions, please put it on the chat. Chat is already enabled for you. We will be taking the question and answer from you last 15-20 minutes. And in between, you can feel free to add your questions on the chat. And there will be some additional polls and the quizzes just to, trickle your or, trick your brains, different answers on the AI in product management. And we are super excited that you have sent very thoughtful questions for the audience to see, and of course for the leaders to answer and share their reflections. So with that, very warm welcome for this product management conclave. I have seen that people have been joining from UAE, from tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 cities in India, in different other countries. So I'm really glad that you guys have all made it today. So thank you so much. I still see people are joining, but given the respect of the time, we will start our conclave today. So starting with the introduction, my first speaker is Vikram Bhat, and Vikram comes with, as I said, he is the CPO in this stealth startup, but he is also coming with the 23 plus years of experience in product strategy, management, and consulting. Currently working as a CPO of a stealth mode startup, but he has been the chief product officer at Setu. He helped fintech innovation through API-based infrastructure, very deep expertise in fintech. Vikram has led high impact teams across lending, retail, education with standout contributions at Lending Card, XTEF, Above, and Mintra. He is an IIM Ahmedabad alumnus and NITK graduate. He blends analytical rigor with user-focused design to drive meaningful business outcomes. Please join me in welcoming Vikram Bhat. Okay, now I will move to Twinkle. Twinkle Nebhani is a VP in Goldman Sachs, a seasoned product manager and product owner with over 8 years of experience driving impactful product strategies across B2B and B2C domains with fintech expertise. Being an XLRI alumnus and known for translating business vision into scalable digital solutions, she excels in stakeholder collaboration, agile methodologies, and customer-centric roadmaps. Twinkle enhances user engagement, streamlines workflows, and align cross-functional teams to deliver measurable business value. With a result-driven yet empathetic leadership style, she continues to contribute meaningfully to product success through strategic thinking and deep customer understanding. She had worked with Axis Bank and Purple Style Labs as well. I hope I am clear and you guys can all hear me. If you can, show a thumbs up or just write on the chat that you can all see me clearly and you can all, hear me. That would be really great. Perfect. Okay. Thank you so much. I will then move to two other gentlemen that we have today. Going to Shobhit Saxena. Meet Shobhit Saxena. As I told, he is the director of products at LoadShare Networks. A dynamic professional driven by a techno-utopian vision to create impactful. I hear some background noise. I would say that please, if you can mute your lines and maintain the decorum because it's a virtual and we all are, really focusing to hear what are the different experts have to share. So please cooperate actively and make it a successful event. Thank you so much. Going to Shobhit, so with a background in marine paramilitary training, global travel and engineering, and IIM Ranchi alumnus, he blends resilience, discipline, and innovation. Passionate about product design, emerging technologies, and mindfulness through Vipassana, Shobhit brings a grounded yet forward-thinking approach. An articulate speaker and adventurer, he actively engages in design workshops and thought leadership. His diverse experience and collaborative spirit make him a valuable asset to purpose-driven initiatives. He has worked with other companies such as Zoomcar, Volvo, Mercedes. Let's give a warm welcome to Shobhit Saxena. Moving to our last speaker, Kshitij Srivastava. Kshitij Srivastava is a dynamic product strategy leader working with Infosys Consulting with 9+ years of experience in strategy, consulting, product management, and analytics. An IIT Roorkee graduate and an XLRI MBA, he blends technical and managerial expertise to drive AI-led automation, digital growth, and operational efficiency. A trusted advisor in high-stake environments, Kshitij is known for strategy, clarity, and impactful leadership. Beyond work, he is a passionate writer, singer, storyteller, and bringing creativity and analytic rigor to every role. Now, I will go about and talk about a little bit about myself before we start this session. I possess 20 years of experience in global marketing, branding, product management, and strategy. I have been working with various other organizations prior to Shorterloop as a CMO, and those have been Oracle, Ericsson, HP, Dell EMC, Intuit, Tally Solutions, so on and so forth. I had my entrepreneur sprint where I worked with and consulted many organizations such as Saint-Gobain, TCS, many UAE banks, many Fortune 500 companies like KPMG, Kantar, both from globally and also from India. And I have also worked with enabling MSMEs and startups all over the India and also from US and Japan and in Middle East. I have tutored and coached 15,000 professionals in the AI, in product management, sales and marketing, go-to-market strategy, and I am also an industry mentor and also guest faculty in various organizations and institutes like Institute of Product Leadership, Alliance University, Jagdish State School of Management, IIT Bombay, IIM Calcutta Innovation Park, and I am strongly believing that this era and next 20 or 30 years will be purely going for AI in product management, something very catchy, very important, a topic that you must learn. And use this session today to leverage and gather your knowledge on AI in product management. With this, I will start the question answer session. My first speaker is Vikram. Hi, Vikram. How are you doing?
Great, Sudiptaa. Able to hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Great.
Okay, so Vikram, I'll start with you first. So knowing that you have worked with various industries and not just fintech, and now you are building this stealth startup where you are working as a CPO. what is that one thing that you believe that you have not done with AI? And my other piggyback questions on this is, how are you using AI in your stealth startup?
Yeah. So firstly, right, I'll talk about how we are using AI today. I mean, I'll start with that. That just kind of sets, I guess, a baseline for how most people are using AI, I assume. So today, if I were to just say, hey, I'm a new company, or, I'm an existing company, I need to use AI in product management activities, I would immediately say use them in these 4 or 5 areas, right? Firstly, in terms of research, in terms of just scaling up your research and making it deeper, right? Obviously, the power of Gen AI is the ability to structure unstructured data. So while you could have run Google searches and done a lot of other types of secondary searches, secondary research, Gen AI allows you to kind of summarize a lot of that very quickly, right? So I think the starting point for secondary research is reached very quickly, right, with the use of AI. Of course, other AI tools like ML and so on, right? Those continue to help in, processing vast amounts of data and generating insights. But again, where Gen AI comes in the picture is it allows you to talk to your data, right? So I think that's the other power. So one, it allows you to scale up your research. Secondly, it allows you to make sense of quantitative research and data a lot better. And more importantly, maybe you're already quantitative in nature or analytical in nature, given that you're a product manager, but it allows you to convey that story much more easily to the rest of the stakeholders, right? I think this is, and of course, you have your usual use cases of auto generating, maybe 60% of your PRD and so on. But I won't really focus on those execution issues. But primarily, helps scale up your research, helps talk to your data, communicate the insights much better to stakeholders. And finally, it also allows you to, once your product is out there, or in the process of getting out there, it allows you to streamline the communication around that, right? Release notes, marketing content, decks, and so on. It allows you to automate a lot of that, a lot faster, right? One thing I have left out, obviously, is the validation of prototypes. So I think prototype validation is another area where you can quickly process unstructured feedback from users who are who you're using to test the prototype, as well as to potentially generate synthetic data to make your prototype much more robust with far fewer users, right? I think these are some of the areas where it's immediately being used, right? Now, in terms of what is a dream state for AI and PM, obviously something that you can use as a chief of staff for a product manager. Obviously, product management has a function called product ops today, which does a lot of this.
Right.
But again, I don't see that as a very efficient structure. And there are questions about what is the future career path for product ops folks and so on. So I think having an AI agent which can orchestrate these different tasks that I just spoke about and play the role of a product ops person for every product manager. So I call it a chief of staff for a product manager, right? I think that is something that I see as truly revolutionary. In terms of use of AI, I would say personalization for a segment of one is one of the holy grails that we've been chasing for a while in the product world. I think that becomes eminently possible with the AI, with the use of AI tech. So I think personalization for a segment of one, and just goes beyond just personalization, right? It actually has the ability to potentially redefine UX for most apps and products, right? I think with AI, with the ability for using AI to process voice, right, and create meaningful actions, I think you actually have the opportunity to completely redefine UX for most apps, which I think see happening over the next few years.
No, very well said. I don't think I need to summarize it, but you talked about discovery, you talked about research, gathering the insights, going all the way to prototyping and the validation. But yes, even the segmentation part of it, marketing content, everywhere AI is making an impact, and it is going to be very huge. Now, coming to my specific question, we all know that we have gone beyond the usage of Gen AI, because now it's all about AI agents and agentic AI, right? And this is a very interesting question. Before we go there, Vikram, Kavya, could you start the poll? And I just wanted to see how many of you today in the audience are coming from the fresher or the student background, and how many of you are coming from the experienced working professionals or building your startup today, having that, taking the risk and the growth mindset. How many of you are there? If you can, just take the poll and let us know. It's very useful. So please do that while I go and ask Vikram about that very interesting question. So Vikram, if you have to hire an AI agent, or if I say if you have to make an agentic AI, right, what is the roles and responsibilities that you will assign to him or her?
Yeah. No, I mean, as I said, I would call it a chief of staff, product management chief of staff AI. I would call that agent chief of staff, and essentially have them, take part in the more operational and I would say data gathering aspects, right, of typical product management activity. Right. For example, summarizing customer calls, emails, support tickets, right, ensuring insights are delivered as opposed to just data, right, drafting a lot of the product documents, right, based on the initial hypothesis, the expected customer segment, the profile of the customer, the expected metrics that will be impacted. Based on that, creating draft PRDs. Obviously, once the product is underway, generating release notes, sales collateral, creating initial versions that can quickly be shared with stakeholders, and a feedback got. As we typically know, right, a lot of the sharing, validation, feedback happens only once the end product is ready. Right. This actually allows us to create drafts, get it out there, get feedback, iterate on those quickly, so that you actually end up shortening the entire life cycle, right? Again, in the background, and analyzing data and telemetry that's being generated by the application, comparing it against tickets that have been received, comparing it against customer calls that have been received, trying to make sense of the telemetry versus bugs that have been logged, monitoring market activity, competitor activity, regulatory activity, again generating nugget-sized insights to product managers. And finally, at a higher level, I think also using AI, to kind of generate product usage simulations, right? Based on what we know of customers, based on what we know of past releases, being able to simulate, product usage and revenue scenarios, so that you can kind of take care of risks much faster, right? So these are, I would say, some of the activities that I would delegate to the chief of staff AI.
Got it. I think very apt. Audience, now, if you have any question, please ask Vikram on the chat. I have one question for the audience. Do you guys know today what is the size of the global AI market? Any guess? Any wild idea? Please put your comments on the chat. We will get back to this answer shortly. With that, I am also going to ask Vikram. Yes, it's understood that agentic AI can take up many stuff, from the summary of email to gathering the insight, comparing previous customers to past customer history. Yeah, hello. You have a question? I heard someone spoke up.
Okay. Yeah, I'm attending that.
I again hear
Harsh,
some
if you
background
could
noise.
mute yourself, please.
Yeah, please do that. Audience, some housekeeping rules. Please be very alert and actively participate. Thank you so much. So my question here, Vikram, now we are all afraid that AI is going to replace us, right? And so the entire product ecosystem and even the founders, it's also been said that SaaS is fast because AI can also create SaaS. So SaaS would be really, really fast thing. Now, with that thing in mind, what do you think? What would be the product manager's role in next 5 years? And do you really think that AI can replace the product leaders?
Yeah. I think great question again. I think I've written a blog post on Medium about this, but basically the way I look at it, Sudiptaa, I don't think AI is at a level where it can take decisions. It can help decisions, it can aid decision making, but it can't take decisions, right? And the primary role of a product manager is really of a person who's kind of managing business outcomes using products and solutions to drive those outcomes, right? So from that perspective, I don't think that role can be taken over by AI anytime soon, right? There are aspects of product management which can be definitely automated. For example, typically when I look at roadmaps, I look at three buckets. I look at an experimental bucket, I look at a metric mover bucket, and I look at a pain point resolution bucket, or a tech debt bucket, right? Now I think that last bucket can easily be automated using AI or AI agents, right? Where the goals are very clear, the use cases are very clear, the potential solution options are limited, right? You can definitely use AI to actually run the entire life cycle in those cases. But I think for metric movers and experiments, product managers will definitely be involved. I think overall, just to summarize, I think PMs will become much more of product success orchestrators as opposed to product managers, right? I think their job definition will be much more around orchestrating product outcomes and product success rather than just managing tasks and feature output.
Right. I think I also see a good answers on the chat that AI can't really replace us. But yes, it will definitely make us better. So I definitely echo, and I'm sure all the speakers here will definitely echo on this, that AI cannot replace the job that we have. We will be more strategic by using where to use AI and where not to use AI. We will be using these AI skills so that we can be a perfect executioner, having a right balance, what is really the quality versus quantity versus the reachability versus the viability versus the feasibility and the governance part of it. So that's my take. And yes, the answer to the global AI market is, I have seen that some of you have mentioned it is in trillion. It is 1.8 trillion US dollar globally, as mentioned by Statista in 2030. So I'll come up with another quiz question. Stay with us. Going to my another question.
I just like to, Sudiptaa, I just like to address
Yeah.
one question here. Somebody
Sure.
said, somebody asked, wouldn't that be more of a project manager role?
Right.
I think, just the clarification here is a project manager role is definitely one that can be automated.
Correct.
Right. I think the AI agentic architecture, along with good data, can be used to automate the project manager role, because there it's more about coordinating tasks and ensuring that tasks are getting done on time, and that can definitely be automated. Whereas ensuring product outcomes, right, or business outcomes, using the product, ensuring that the product successfully helps the business, become more profitable or gain more revenue, that is something that the AI cannot take over, at least as far as I know, right? Maybe it'll happen in a few years, but at least as far as I know, this is something that will be very people dependent for the near future.
Right. Totally agree. There are a lot of lot of tools like Trello, like Basecamp, who has a lot of AI feature loaded, and they can totally automate, some aspect to most of the aspects of the project management. And I totally agree with what Vikram has said. With that, I'm going to a very sensitive part of it. How many of you have created a Ghibli image using ChatGPT recent features? Can you just write on the chat? Yeah. I see. Yes. Okay. I want more answers. Come on. 41 people. You have not used it? Okay. I saw some direct message to me. Someone has used it. Okay. Now coming to the ethical part of it, right? Do you know that you have given your own personal image to AI, and that can be used in many different ways, not an ethical way. It can be, it is actually creating more harm. Yes, you have gone with the flow, with the Josh, with trying the new features, right? And many cases I have heard that mixed reaction saying that Ghibli image is really bad. I really look nicer. And, both men and women say that. So now coming to that on ethical part of it, Vikram, what do you think that given that AI hallucination that we have all heard of it, and being the leader, we are very, very careful where we can use it. What is the most important part, what we should look at when it comes to the ethical and that bias removal scenario when using AI? If you can give some real world example, that would be really helpful.
Yeah. No, I mean, just to, for example, initially my startup was focused on helping B2B sales activity, right? So we needed a lot of B2B sales conversations, right? So for our proof of concept, we directly used, ChatGPT or, available off-the-shelf model, right? Without much RAG or fine tuning. So obviously that data, our assumption was there was a lot more bias towards, American customers or customers in the West, right? So therefore, we can't. So while looking at the outcomes, looking at the data, comparing it to real world conversations, we realized that there was a bias, right? And the practical approach we used was to kind of feed a lot of local conversations, between say insurance agents and customers, right, into the system to get a much more realistic output, right? So to me, it's part of making your product succeed, right? To me, I would not categorize this as ethical bias or use any such language. I would just say it's about ensuring that your product works as expected for the intended audience, right? Now, if your intended audience is in the US, then you don't want to obviously train it on data of Indians, right? I wouldn't be bothered, by the fact that the model doesn't have a lot of data about Indians. Similarly, if I were using the product on Indian customers, I wouldn't really care if, say, US customers or say, say customers from Bangladesh are not really part of the data set, right? So my concern is not about ensuring that the data set is well represented. It's about ensuring that it reflects the demography and the population that I'm going after with my product, right? So again, comes back to, is the data that's being used to train the model, is that accurate? Is that real? Is that, well represented? Does it represent your target customer profile well, right? I think that's what I would be worried about. So obviously, what would I do? I would look at what is the source data being used to train the model. If the source data is not complete enough, or it's not accurate enough, I would use approaches like RAG or fine tuning to further train the model or to make the model better, right? So again, just to clearly state the way I see the issue, I don't see this as an ethical issue or a regulatory issue. I see this more as the hygiene required to make your product work as expected and to remove any risk of inaccuracies in the way the product works, right? And again, the inaccuracies could be acceptable or not depending on the use case again, right? So for example, if you're in say an insurance use case, the regulatory aspect might be much more stringent than say if you're selling B2B software or B2B hardware, right? So there, I mean, it may be okay to exaggerate a little or go, be a little inaccurate. But when you're selling, say, financial products to, you say, underprivileged customers, then you definitely cannot afford to do that, right? So I think the context would define how accurate I want the model to be and how accurate I want the data to be that has been used to train the model. So that's the way I would frame the problem, Sudiptaa.
Got it. I think just to summarize here, I think what is very important is the data. Knowing the psychographics, knowing the demographics, what is your objective, what you want to see as a sample outcome, and lot of testing and checking the viability of the data and giving you the right outcome. That is exactly what Vikram is talking. And we all should be very mindful about it. With that, Vikram, my last question to you is that you have talked that Gen AI is really helping product managers and the marketing, doing various aspects, right? And if you really look into all the marketing components and of course, more of the product lifecycle management components, what is your take that how can AI be used by both product leaders and the marketing leaders in the best efficient way, while also focusing on, as you rightly said, the data viability, the quality, the output, which is also in the right balance or in proportion with each other?
Yeah, no, I think again, great question, Sudiptaa. I think there's a long-term and short-term answer to it. I think in the long term, I actually see Gen AI and AI tech, the AI tech stack in general, significantly blurring the lines between functional departments, right? Because suddenly data and information and potentially even great insight is the access has been significantly democratized, right? Which means that if anybody has an entrepreneurial mindset or a founder mindset, they can easily play the role of a GM or CEO in any situation, right? So the so those data silos are being collapsed, right? So I think that has significant long-term implications in terms of collapsing functional silos, right? So that's the long-term impact. In the short term, I think Gen AI significantly opens up collaboration between marketing and product. In fact, I would say it streamlines collaboration. I think collaboration is always expected between marketing and product. In fact, these two functions are tied at the hip because these are the two functions that are supposed to understand the customer the best, and obviously communicate the value of the product or solution being offered to the customers, right? So I think understanding of customer is also key to building great products. So from that perspective, both marketing and product, they work off shared knowledge, right? And what Gen AI does is it kind of creates this pool of shared knowledge much more easily. And it's shared living knowledge again, right? Because with every interaction with the customer, with every interaction with the market, that knowledge base keeps getting updated now, right? So I think they work off much better information, much more real-time information. So hopefully, the way the product marketing collateral is created, the way the product is built, the way the product USPs are communicated, I think there will be much stronger cohesion between all these because of Gen AI. So that's, I think, the short-term impact. For example, once I think we already discussed it. Once you're in the process of creating the product, you can kind of in parallel start creating, product marketing documentation, right? Collateral required. You can start getting early feedback. You can put it out there based on, the views that you're getting, based on, the interest that you're getting from potential customers. You can quickly iterate and fine tune it, right? So it makes all these things possible. Actually, one thing I want to mention is Gen AI, I think, has the ability to shift selling or marketing from a seller-led activity to a buyer-led activity, or rather, to an infrastructure that allows for both to happen seamlessly, right? I think, a lot of people are already aware of a shift towards, deal rooms, right? Where as a buyer, I can kind of quickly go to, say, a company's deal room or a product's deal room and get all the information I want without even a salesperson getting involved, right? So basically I can go to, say, a chatbot or a website and then basically have an interactive conversation with that agent and get all the product information I need to figure out whether that product will suit my requirements, even without talking to a salesperson. Of course, I'm not saying that sales will go away completely, but I'm saying it's significantly changing the dynamic of selling as well, right? So the concept of product specialist agents, who could kind of power these deal rooms and be available to you 24/7, significantly changes the dynamics of selling itself, right? Because in B2B selling, we all know that product managers or product specialists play a key role in creating demos, in explaining product details to customers when required, and so on. So with the technologies available today, it has again the potential to collapse a lot of this activity so that selling, marketing can happen much faster, and deals can be closed much faster as well. In fact, this is one of the areas that I'm also working on.
Great, Vikram. Thank you so much. Guys, if you have any question for Vikram, please put that on the chat. I also have another quick quiz question to all of you audience. Please show your support by using the hands up, hearts, different emojis. How are you liking this session? We really want this to be interactive. I see very less chat, though I really want this to be very, very interactive. So one thing that I really want to say, I think Vikram nailed it, talking about it's not just marketing, but it is also product, marketing, sales, designing, being there, and like whenever there are some queries, all the time, the AI agent is there gathering the insights, demo, the buyer led, the moving from a seller led to buyer led, more customer centric. I think that is the kind of thing where we are using Gen AI and also all the AI apps that is being there. With that, I will go. Thank you so much, Vikram. It's been lovely asking you and gathering your insights. I'm sure audience has loved it all. If you have some more question, We will share Vikram's LinkedIn ID on the chat, and you can get in touch with Vikram. Thank you so much, Vikram. Have a great
You guys.
weekend.
Yeah,
Yes.
great interacting.
Audience, we need more love and support. Please use your emojis. With that, I'll go to our very beautiful lady, Twinkle. Hi, Twinkle. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Great. Thank you so much for joining, Twinkle. So, Twinkle, I know that you use AI more to understand customers' requirement and turn that to the business vision. And what has been your experience so far when you use AI here? If you can, talk based on your decades of experience and yeah, some nice laughing story maybe, or some examples that you can share with our audience.
Uh, so first I would like to talk about like what is PM's job description. So if I want to summarize it, we basically convert customers' pain point into live products or features. Obviously, there are other flavors to it. For example, we manage P&L, stakeholder management, compliance, legal teams, handling grooming costs, etc. But the main part of it is to understand customer requirement or client's requirement, and then we translate them into some feature or product. Now, to reach that level, a PM has to go through a lot of customer feedback, clients' feedback. How Vikram mentioned that they have to go through calls, maybe mails, and that is a lot of task. Okay. And sometimes as a human, like we can't be so efficient because it takes a lot of time. So AI has basically moved it like it has helped us to do those heavy repetitive tasks, and it has helped us to do this early research, early stage research, and understanding the customer needs, and translating them to user stories or early initial drafts of PRDs as well, which can be in the end like circulated among different teams to get their feedback. So it has really helped us to summarize the needs of the customer, which is a major task for us. Uh, so if I look at now the PM role, it is more like a strategic leader, which is more involved into strategic thinking than doing the redundant uh, task, which can be basically uh, done through AI. But at the same time, there are some things we need to make sure. So as Vikram was also mentioning, data is something which is an essential part of creating those models. So I like to quote an example here. For example, in my previous organization, Access, I was looking at digital lending. And in lending, there is a critical part which is called as credit scoring of customers.
Hmm.
Uh, there, see, AI can help us to improve the efficiency, can improve as a model. But at the same time, it can go wrong if you will blindly trust AI. Okay. Uh, because there is a historical data. If you will feed that data to the AI, it can create a bias toward maybe a particular section of customer, a certain income group, maybe a certain employee type, which is not correct. So here, how we come into the picture, we are more of a strategic leaders, strategic thinkers. So we should not blindly consume what the AI is feeding us. We have to question it as well. Okay.
Definitely.
And at the same time, we have to also question the data that we feed to the AI, that what is in the data, who are represented in the data. I think Vikram talked about it in detail that if we are maybe looking at US customers, so we need to understand that what kind of data we are also feeding. So we need to question the data also. And at the same time, look at who is not part of the data also. So look at the bigger picture here. And also, instead of just looking at the accuracy or the performance matrix, we have to also look at the fairness of the model that the AI is creating for us. So this is one of the things that we basically did in our previous organization. We created the model, but also we looked at what the model basically, we tested that model in detail and looked at the output that we are getting from that AI model. uh, at the now, because of this shift, we also get to spend a lot of time on decision thinking. Like, because AI is doing most of the task for us, so we get to spend a lot of time on decision making, problem solving, and ensuring that the problem is solved for the right kind of customers. So this is how overall the AI is basically helping us. I hope I'm able to answer your question.
Yeah, I think yes, you have given a good amount of real cases how you have done it in Axis Bank, and everything cannot be trusted. What AI is giving, you need to really question. And I love that part because there has been recent research done by MIT Institute that if you continuously using AI, your brain is getting shrunk. You are losing your logical and the reasoning capability. So be very watch out and mindful when and how much time. It's like you are scrolling through aimlessly on your Insta and you just go through it. But just don't go gaga about using AI. But we are human. We know where to strike a balance, right? Then otherwise we will also be an emotionless AI robots, right? So I totally agree that question AI, how did you get, where, what is the source, how did you make your logical reasoning, what was the past data, how do you compare, ask all the transparency that can make you comfortable across the organization, so that you create AI champions from every team who is telling you pros and cons of using whatever AI is building today. So thank you so much, Twinkle. I will come shortly to you. I'm going to my other two speakers, Kshitij and Shobhit. You can answer because both of you have a very strong background of product experimentation, discovery, and also the analytics. Now, my first question to Shobhit. You have worked from Zoom Car, Volvo, and you're like perfect supply chain, strong, the organization to you are right now in the LoadShare networks. So where you used AI in your product discovery, and what has been the prioritization that you have made it more effective using AI-based framework?
Sure. Thanks, Sudiptaa. That's a very nice question.
Shobhit, you are not very audible. Can you come near the speaker?
Okay. Is it good now?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks, Sudiptaa. That's a very good question. So I would want to break it down into three parts. Number one is what is AI, and number two is have we applied AI in the past in our products, and number three is how it is helping us in terms of product discovery and the evolution of creating better products. So number one, AI, intelligence, and I think intelligence is something that all of us as humans are born with. Now, this is something which is very recently is getting replicated by machines, and that is where the world is changing drastically, and we see that okay, a lot of processes and a lot of systems are changing, and AI will eventually replace humans. What I personally believe is that AI has replaced humans. Rather, it has made if a human is no more seeking services from AI, they will be a bit less competitive as compared to the one who is using the AI services. Because we as humans can go deep and we have our own intellectual capabilities, but we cannot be very wide in terms of having multicultural, multi-linguistic and multi-domain knowledge all covered together inside our brain, and then we can analyze and bring it back. So that's where AI is helping us drastically. Now, have we not used AI in the past? We have been using AI. I believe it's been almost 20, 30 years that organizations and softwares have become intelligent in their limited domain and in their limited scope. So, for example, in terms of logistics, we have been doing route planning for a very, very long time, be planning for a salesman, or let's say a route optimization or delivery run sheet for a delivery boy. We have always been optimizing it with intelligence. Now that is locational intelligence, and it depends on the location data that we have, and accordingly we optimize the route. Accordingly, we also take inputs from the users as well, and accordingly adjust our intelligence. So this is something that we have been doing in the past as well. Now, what has changed right now with LLMs coming to AI is that we are able to generate a lot of information. We can broaden our thought process, and that helps us a lot in terms of product discovery. It helps us in a lot in terms of refining our thought process. It also unlocks multiple dimension to our thinking process. Last but not the least, it is the best bouncing board possible. So usually, if we were to conduct a design thinking workshop to understand the customer needs and take their inputs, we would have to do multiple focus group sessions. We would have to create workshops. You have to bring in people. Now, with AI, you can actually do that secondary work all by yourself, sitting in a room and just generating multiple ideas with different customer personas. And then you can go back to the customer and actually validate all of those inputs that you have received. Now, basically, it has fast tracked something that you would have done in a month. Now you will be able to do it in a day or so. And that helps us a lot in terms of, it cuts down a lot of wastage in terms of the complete product thinking process and all the investment that used to go into that. It's all optimized right now. Now, the next leg of AI disruption would be when different AI softwares would start talking to each other. Right now, all of us are in our own silos. For example, let's say me working with a logistics startup, we have our own proprietary database and limited number of addresses in storage with us. And accordingly, we might be able to pinpoint a precise Google location. Now, let's say there are multiple different AIs, let's say Claude and let's say ChatGPT and let's say Anthropic. Every GPT starts talking to each other. So basically an AI to AI protocol where multiple infrastructures, multiple databases are interacting with each other and passing information. Now that will actually automate my life. And as Vikram summarized it very well, it will be my chief of staff or the executive assistant who is actually
आपके पास कोई डैशबोर्ड है जहाँ दिखता है कि कितने लीड्स मेरे पास आए.
Please, audience, we hear a lot of background noise. Team, if you can mute all the audience, and when you have to speak up, please unmute. I think that's the only way we can manage things here. So yeah, go ahead, Shobhit. Yes.
Sure. Yeah, so basically multiple different agents talking to each other. So I'll just exemplify it in a way. My Slack, my Google Workspace, and let's say my follow-ups with different project managers, which is the HRIS system of my organization. If let's say all these three ecosystems start talking to each other, imagine how peaceful my life would be. And I would save at least 3 hours a day in terms of follow-ups, etc. Now that's where AI is supposed to go. I believe last week itself, Google launched a new AI to AI communication protocol. Now this is where we are going, and it will unlock a lot of intelligence for all of us and will help.
Right. So I just to take from what Shobhit said, he told that, look, today we are not using only AI. We have been using it last 20 years, knowingly or unknowingly. First thing is Google search engine, where it came. Even the social, if you go to any Myntra or any app, you see those recommendations. It's not just in last 2 years. It's been there from last 10, 15 years, because we all have been the millennials, online shopper. Now here you have Gen Z, Gen X, Gen Alpha is coming. So everyone is super digital savvy, and even the Insta, even the Facebook, where you go and see this recommendation that other people whom you connect to the network, you should look into these groups where you can connect. So these are all coming based on your previous pattern of searches, your connection history, what you have posted, and then it is identifying what could be done more in terms of what you have done previously. So with that, I'll ask the question to Kshitij. Kshitij, now what Shobhit said, that he's using the AI and of course those different agents, and within the across different departments, he is ensuring that AI has been utilized. Now tell me, can you give us some examples of product experimentation that you have done in your real life case, where you have used product discovery, product design thinking, which Shobhit has also said, where he has used and he is still using Gen AI, and what is your take on those areas, that how can AI help to save your times, because this is exactly where AI has a bigger role to play, cost efficiency, right? So, and also saving your time. I don't really believe the cost efficiency part, because AI requires huge GPUs, and it's actually a costly affair to be. Yeah, it's nice to get into the board, but it will see the ROI later. It takes some years to get into that break even. But yeah, go back and share your expertise there. Yeah.
Hi Sudiptaa, hello everyone.
Yeah.
So I'll borrow from where you and Vikram left. So if you see Vikram said a passing line that they were using insurance conversation between the client and the customer, and you said we have been using AI, Google search, Insta, Swiggy, and Myntra, whatsoever, everything. The similar is the case with the experimentation. So we have, so for example, I'll give the reference to my last firm. It was a gaming firm, and it's a real money gaming firm into cards, poker, rummy, and all sorts of, and there are plethora of companies in today's, at least in the present time, in the we are sitting at. So what happens in real money gaming firms is a lot of fraud happen. For example, I put in 100 rupees, they give you 100% discount, 50% offer. You put 100, will give you 100. So from the business perspective, from the human perspective, who wants to play Dream 11, MPL, Poker Bazi, Rummy Bazi, it's a good way to develop yourself. You go from beginner to mature to intermediate to pro. But when it is malified, for example, let's say everybody who are in Nexus, okay, we sit on the table, we got 100 rupees, and we have got 200 rupees on the table. But if it is malified, 1% takes it all. It's a loss to the ecosystem, to the customer, and everyone else. So here we started using AI, developing internal models from where these customers are coming, what are the frauds they are doing, and again the same thing that Vikram said, using various parameters, putting into the context, and developing a kind of prototype or model, you would say, along with the data science team, analytics team, and we had a good percent of accuracy where it gives a heads up when such a thing has popping up. So that helps us in that way.
Got it. Yeah, I think that's very nice. And I see on the chat that some of you, and even Kshitij, you have asked that what is that report that says that brain is shrinking. I'll share that report.
And the AI, that's a good thing as well, because if it can give you more decision making, you must have the capability to take the decision. That's a very if I cannot take the decision, then whatever it says, what it's like, I'm not using my brain. Whatever my manager is saying, I'm just a puppet, I'm just a parrot. So if you are not adding value, AI is more of demeaning your value. It will devalue you. So that is where the business, so it's more of a accelerator to your decision making, to your thought process. So we have to be more strategic, more decision making, more thoughtful, more ideation process has to be the same thing that from your website that we are doing.
Correct. Yeah, I think because see, just my take, what I heard from you, Shobhit, Kshitij, and Twinkle, all of you. It's one thing is very clear that today AI, what you used to take months or weeks or years in gathering customer feedback, taking the historical data and go through these enormous amounts of rows of Excels, you do the VLOOKUP, and then you identify what is the common identifier, what is the purchase history, what kind of experimentation, what kind of prediction that we can run, right? This is now possible with the solid governance-oriented AI model. And that is exactly we see in all these cases, whether you take game tech, what Kshitij talked about, whether you take, the automobile, whether you take fintech, what Twinkle talked about. And I also see the audience has asked question that typically in the clinical and the non-technical environment, how can AI being used? So experimentation is one area where AI has made it sweeter. AI has made it things in minutes. In a minute, you can collect loads and thousands and millions of data collection. And with the AI models, with the right kind of testability and the viability, you can also know what are the key problem statements that customer has given you. What has been your hypothesis? Is it on the proven side? Is it has been rejected? Because you need data. At the end of the day, when your management or your leadership, the board of leaders are asking you, how did you get the validation done? You should be having those data proof, because that makes you look good to tell you, look, we have done multiple experiments. These are the results. And that's where we are getting our gut or the confidence that, yes, if we do this, we will get it right. In terms of new product launches, in terms of adding a feature that is really important for a customer to utilize because it has come from the customer feedback or from the experimentation, or you want to identify your roadmap from now to next 3 to 5 years, where experimentation would be incredibly useful. Now, with that, I will answer the audience question. Yes, so non-technical, I will say that, and leaders, please, all the speakers, please have your insights as well. See, non-technical is typically those sales, marketing, creative, team, HR, finance, procurement. Now, some of the cases where I have been the advisor on various, the board of different startup and also the medium-sized company, we have done for a vendor procurement model using the scoring, which Twinkle talked about, right? The scoring mechanism. We have created a similar scoring model to rate the vendor who are sustainable. So when I was in St. Govind, we created a vendor framework where we can identify how are they sourcing their material, are they having the right certifications, what kind of portfolio strength that is matching with St. Govind's overall vision, and of course their overall track record, their overall history of the revenue and the bottom line, achieving the goals, all of your business objective, sustainability objective. And at the end of the day, when you are certifying suppliers, all your certification and the regulation, whether they have been abided by in that market or not, that's super, super important. And this scoring model can be created using AI, using the right data sets and doing a lot of experimentation and creating it more solid. And nothing is one time done, frozen. No, it's a living doc. AI related model is a living doc. What can make it really nicer, attractive is continuously feeding the data, continuously giving the human feedback. That's very important so that AI model learns automatically what is right, what is wrong, chain of prompt engineering that you use, and that really makes the model super, super believable. So with that, I'll go to the question, Twinkle. I think you have mentioned this in your discussion when I was asking you the question that when you work with your product managers, right? And how you use AI there. Do you use AI agent, or do you ask the product managers to create the agent or supervise the agent? How do you do that?
So see, basically, most of the companies now have an internal AI. Like they have a dedicated team who create a bigger AI that can be used across teams. So that is what I've seen in my previous organization and here as well. So the AI that we use currently in the organization. So I will want to look at this question as like how the product team is basically using or supervising these AI agents. Okay, because the AI is same across all the teams. Like the same AI has been used across teams. So like we don't create our own AI agent. It's about training the AI for our use. So how I look at it is that I first of all try to understand that how AI is thinking. Okay, because for the first time, if I'm using an AI for the first time also, like when I used Chat GPT, I had no idea that what outcome I'll get. So for the first time when I was using the AI, I gave them a customer pain point just to understand that how the thinking is happening, and then I asked them to convert it into a user story. And when I saw the result, I uh, gave them a little bit more data. So let's uh, take an example of so for example, I was working on a KYC product, okay, in my previous organization. So in the KYC product, I was facing an issue uh, where a lot of people were trying to misuse. So there is a PAN, there is a name on the PAN and there is a name on the Aadhaar. Okay. And the PAN and the Aadhaar name should be same. But a lot of people were trying to misuse, and they basically collected a lot of PAN numbers with which had the same name as their Aadhaar. So I'll take a random example. So for example, suppose Ajay Jain is a common name. So I don't know from where they were able to extract a lot of data of Ajay Jain's PAN number, and then it was the same name as their Aadhaar number, Aadhaar name, sorry. And I think the fraud that happened was in crores. Now to understand how we can solve this problem. Okay, like we were confused at how we can solve this problem. So we went to the AI, and it was a simple solution. See, it was not a very difficult solution. Basically, NSDL sends us a linkage between Aadhaar and PAN. They basically have, if the Aadhaar and PAN are linked or not, there is a key that they send us. Okay, and we can simply consume that key, and then we implemented that. So this is how we solved that problem. It was a simple solution, but it took us a lot of time as a humans because we couldn't understand that how we can solve the problem. We wasted a lot of time. And then when we asked AI, they simply told us, okay, you can just simply, because NSDL API responses are easily available on internet. They extracted that, they told us, okay, you can consume this key, and that is how we solve that problem. So this is where AI is helping us to solve bigger problems also. Like if you will look at this, this was a very big problem. Any customer can easily uh, uh, like exploit this, but it was a simple solution. So, but at the same time, I will also say, just adding on to a few things that we discussed earlier, uh, like when we are trying to build anything using the AI agent or any AI, we also have to look at compliance. That when you're working with a fintech, none of the compliance is breaching. Okay, and that is where I think the humans comes into picture, because we have to go through. So, for example, here we had RBI, which is the authority, which has authority, which is the uh, body that overlooks all the banks. So we had to, like, obviously AI helped us also to go through the compliance, but we have to also overlook if we are not breaching any compliance point there. So this is how the AI helped us to solve a very difficult problem, I'll say. Am I audible? I think
You are
Sudip,
audible.
yeah, I think
Yes, you are audible.
Sudiptaa
Yes.
got disconnected.
Sudiptaa got disconnected.
I think there
She's
was
here.
a
Hi,
net.
Sudiptaa.
Yeah, and I saw you frozen, Twinkle, and immediately I got dropped up. Okay, so what we were saying is, I think thank you so much, Twinkle, and putting that perspective from your previous work organization, similarity of the data and how you can actually protect the fraud by looking into those scenarios, and also being compliant with what RBI or CB coming up with those fintech, because fintech, health tech, these are very very crucial. Every time even the food tech, the kind of FDI regulation, FDA regulation, we have all of those things. We need to be very mindful of it. I was giving these examples of a clinical, the question that audience has posted, that in the clinical scenario, because I come up with also 6+ years of experience in health tech scenario, and how is AI used specifically in those examples. One is, if you look into the taking the doctor's appointment, how many of you use an app called Eka? Anyone? I use it. How many of you use the Apollo 24/7 or Plum? Yeah, many of organizations today use Plum, and through which you can do your consultation. It reminds you when you need to buy your next medicine. It tells you what are your vital, and based on that what kind of insights it generates, right? So those cases AI is being used. Even AI is being used to do those 3D based surgeries, where the doctor is on the other part of the globe, and AI has went through all the client's history and then came up with, okay, these are the insights, these are the pros, these are the cons, and mostly these are accurate. But again, you need to have a human intervention and doctors, experts insight what AI has generated. And also the chatbot, when a patient is talking to a doctor or to a customer support agent, it's not just in healthcare, in any scenario, take e-commerce, take IT, take renewable, take anywhere, yeah, to AI to diagnose the medical treatment. Exactly, Amber. So these are the areas where you will use that AI will be using in the healthcare. And of course, when the regulations are coming every now and then, what are the implications to the business? You have seen that US has increased the tariff. That has impacted the entire world. Now, what it means for you to do the business, you need to pay more tariff if you have to work in US, right? So understand these complications, and whole world has a mixed signals what Trump has done. I don't want to make it as a political agenda, but what I'm trying to tell you is that the problem when we face, when we have to do the business, how can AI help us and quickly tell, okay, because of this impact, what are the pros and cons of your business? Bangladesh, another issue when it happened, right? How Marico as an industry, they had many warehouses in Bangladesh, but those were shut down because of this political scenario. How it is impacting your business through AI models, it can really able to predict and tell you what are the other options that you have to manage your business, gathering the revenue from the other part of the world. So with that, I have one quick quiz question. I asked it on the chat. What is India's contribution towards the global AI market? Without going through your Google search, without looking at your mobile, just take a wild guess and write it on the chat. With that, I'm going to my next question. Kshitij, so my question is, you talked about the experimentation, you talked about your examples, right? And now I really want to understand, when you talked about in Infosys scenario, or let's say any IT consulting scenario, what could be the areas that you have seen that ethical use of the AI? Because I know Infosys has some protocol, and any big organization where I have also worked, they have a pretty much governance and the protocol before we can set up, and it takes time to create those areas. So where you see the ethical use of AI when you have built any model, or what are those sensitive space that you don't want to use AI? Any quick take from your side? Kshitij, can I hear your voice? Kshitij? Hello?
He is
Kshitij,
not
can you-
audible. He's frozen actually.
Okay, okay. So anyone would like to take this question? Shobhit, what's your take while Kshitij coming back? I think we are facing some good amount of disturbances, and I'm sorry about that.
Srivastava,
It's not in
would
our
you
control. Yeah, Shobhit, go ahead.
repeat it?
Can't hear
Can you
you,
please-
can't hear you.
Sorry, can you please repeat the question?
Yeah, I was saying that, look, he is coming from this IT and the consulting background. And if I tweak the question to you, of course, you have not worked with IT, but yeah, everything has a tech component, right? Whether you work in an automobile or you work in a networking scenario, it has a tech component. So which are the areas you will not be using AI? Means AI can't drink your tea or coffee. AI can't really, beat the Bangalore traffic, right? Even though the
Got it.
drone system has recently started. But which are those areas specifically in your scenario that AI cannot be used?
Got it. See, I think when Twinkle was answering a similar question, what I could decipher was that the decision making, the wider spectrum of information, everything can be generated by AI, but the neck on the line will be of a human always. So the decision maker, the one who is endorsing it, the one who is accepting it, and the one who is accountable for all the results will always be human for the foreseeable future. Even I believe in for the unlimited long period as well. So you cannot outsource everything to AI. You can of course broaden your horizons. You can do a lot of work. You can fast track a lot of things. You can integrate a lot of things with AI. But yeah, the final decision making has to be done by a human for a human. So that will remain. And for example, Vikram also talked about deal rooms, where as a buyer you can get a lot of information about the product that you are about to buy, which basically moves you in the funnel forward, where you have all the information about the product. You might be interested in buying the product, but still the final deal making is something that you will do with a human only, because that's where the comfort and the human touch comes into the picture. And there might be a lot of nuances in terms of your requirement, which AI might not be able to understand at the current point in time. Of course, it will evolve, considering more users and more inputs will keep on coming to it. But right now, the hand holding and that final touch and the final signatory authority, all of these things is something that will remain. And we are not comfortable right now to outsource it to AI as yet. Hopefully, we will be.
Got it. Got it. Thank you so much, Shobhit, being so candid that where you still don't feel AI, using those areas. I will move to the question. Audience, you have sent us a lot of questions, and I really appreciate that. Before that, I want to give you the answer for the quiz that I asked. While you still keep thinking, but as per NASSCOM, in 2025, AI in India will be contributing $500 billion of USD, and it is growing 20% year on year. So massive growth, massive opportunity for India to contribute and showcase being the best partner when it comes to AI. So with that, I'm moving to the audience question. My first question, I think you mentioned, audience, that in a heavily, I think that Twinkle has already talked about, even Shobhit has talked about different real world example, and even Kshitij has talked about. I would really like to give these examples that we have a specific, the training that we are coming up with. It's a 20 hours and the 6 hours course. Very in-depth knowledge of AI in product management, where you will be learning the fundamental concept. You will be learning a lot of case studies across various industries. Every assignment, you will have more than 20 plus prompts and 16 plus AI tools, and you will have the assignments for every session when you are using AI, keeping your governance and viability and the feasibility brain right. And I have also shared on the link on the chat that what is that study? MIT, I know from my network, of course, I cannot, we have not made it publish that report, but MDPI Institute has clearly talked about that if you use a lot of AI, it is going to shrink your critical thinking, logical reasoning, the left and the right part of the brain. So you know what to do. With that, I'm going to ask this question. There is a question from the audience that as a marketing leader, and I'm picking it up on that, how do you think AI is impacting product positioning and go-to-market strategy? Something very, very close and very passionate for me to answer this question. And thank you so much, audience, for asking this question. Look, AI for doing anything, and all the speakers have already, provided their opinion that everything starts and ends with the customers. So you need to be closely working with the customers, understanding their requirements, understanding their feedback, good or bad. And look, some customers, often the customers who are negative, they are not satisfied, they will have more voice compared to the happy and positive customers. And we already know that negative voices spreads so much more than a positive voice, because we only respond to the survey, or we create escalation, a typical nature of human psychology, that when we are not happy, we try to identify every such forum where we talk about our frustration, what we have felt, and things like that. So it's not bad. What I'm only trying to say is, when you gather the feedback, have that eye and understand what to be taken and what not to be taken. And when you are using AI to gather the feedback and synthesizing the feedback and telling you, look, these are the problem statements, these are the opportunities, these are the areas that you should look into it. And you also do a competitive intelligence where AI works brilliantly well. I use myself every day at least 10 plus tools, and I have my own agentic AI apps that I have built using various agentic AI application. Those who don't know the coding, you can be relaxed. You can use without coding, without knowing Python and things, but you can still create an agentic AI. And with that, it gives me the information how our competitors place their product or position their product, what are their global and the local positioning. And it gives me an idea that as a marketer, after gathering the feedback from market, which is my customer, knowing the trends in the technology and the overall business trends, and knowing also the political scenario. I'm not sure how good you know about a framework or Porter's, or the Pestel, those framework. We use that heavily in marketing, and we use that and identify for the portfolio or the product that you are handling, what should be the positioning be. So there are many dimensions. You gather information, not just from your customers, technology, your overall changing scenario in the government, sociological, everything, right? And then you are identifying what it means to you, how uniquely you position. So this is where AI is definitely helping us. And This helps you to come up with your go-to-marketing strategy. So what is a go-to-market strategy? Go-to-market strategy is bridging the product story that you have told internally in your organization, or the product that you have created, how you will bring it to the market, using what channel, what strategies. Either you are going to use a direct sales, you will have some partners, you will have some influencers, you will have marketing-led sales, you will have sales-led, you will have product-led growth. You can have different types of go-to-market strategies. And this is exactly where AI is also being used. And Shorterloop has automated how you can create go-to-market strategies in minutes, how you can position by knowing your customer persona, and you can put your own research, you can put reports that is there from different places like Gartner, Forrester, and so on and so forth, and you can create that product positioning in minutes. But definitely you need a human intervention to sharpen it so that it is not imitating just like your another competitor. So this is where human intervention is very important. With that, I am moving to a next question. Is Kshitij back now?
Somewhere.
Yeah, okay, Kshitij, yeah. So the question that I wanted to ask you is that I'm just looking into the audience questions. Yeah, so can you share a real life example? I know that you have shared it, but would you like to say that how AI helped improving a product's performance or customer experience?
Yes, I would say, and it's on the customer side as well, product side as well, and from the organization point as well. For example, when we were in, and again, I'll take their examples because that gives a better understanding to the audience as well. For example, you are into real money gaming and you are playing poker, for example. So it's a certain set of cards that are dealt and certain set of cards that are with the individual. So when the customer is coming, you have three types of customers. You do not know the customer, whether it's a beginner customer, whether it's an intermediate customer, whether it's a pro customer, whether he's coming to win because he has been playing for many years, or like me, I am coming because I do not have any exposure. I'm getting free cashback, just 100 rupees, and I'll try to play fun because it's a COVID time. So I'll do that. But as an organization, I won't want stickiness in my portal. People come, they do not feel cheated, they do not feel defrauded, they feel they're getting groomed, learning, or a sense of happiness is there. Okay, that's the one thing from the customer point of view. From my point of view is, so it's a game of two things. It's a game of skill and it's a game of bluff. So when I'm coming in the portal, I know there are theoretical winners. For example, two cards I have, there are a certain number of cards that are open and certain cards that I have. So as an organization within my database, I would know which are the theoretical winner when I'm doing the posthumous analysis, not at that point in time, because that would be certain ethical framework that will come in, because at that point we don't have know which cards are dealt with. When after a certain time, when the data gets updated in the DB, you know these are the theoretical winners. And then there are the real winners, because that's a game of bluffers. That's a game of individual personality as well. I do not have the card, but I have my look and feel, and the wherewithal are like, you feel I have the best cards and you'll fold and I win. Again, you can develop a kind of, you can use AI, you can use data scientists, you can use LLM, you can use ML algo and certain framework and middle. So what this does is, this does as an individual, as a platform, first thing. For example, your platform, the Vikram platform, the right set of users are coming. The users who have malified intention, and when the malified intention is coming, the real customers, the real players also get, stepped back. Second, it helps the maturity cycle of the customer. It goes up and up. The stickiness factor goes and up and up. The retention factor goes, so whole life cycle from retention to customer experience to marketing, you'll find matrices as well also going up. The impressions, the conversion factors, these all go up, and this we have done in the last firm. Even in the current firm, if I talk about Infosys Consulting, the ethical part play very pivotal role, because you can use AI, but see, everything is the data. You put in the data, they have it. The same Ghibli example you gave. I was not a proponent of that because I felt कि मैं क्यों डालूं? And what everybody does it ना, nobody has it. अगर सब अमीर है ना तो कोई गरीब नहीं. अगर सब गरीब है ना तो कोई अमीर.
I love that.
So you have to use your brain. मतलब इसे ना कि मेरे पास पैसा है, मैं घर का काम क्यों करूं? घर मत करो आप, but then do gym. At the end, it's you, right? Nobody is there. मतलब बचपन हो गया, mom dads are done. Now it is your life. You have to decide your life. You are the master of your own ship. That's how I feel. So if you feel कि हाँ मेरे data मतलब for example I have developed prototype and I'm putting into AI, मेरे को लग रहा है चला जाएगा क्योंकि 10 साल मैंने इसको सोचा, and it's about सोचना. तो वो सोचना is the real flair या real happiness. It's not the money. It's not the आपके अपने code crack कर लिया. वो वाली चीज होती है.
Kshitij, thank you so much for your response. I really love that. Audience, you want to take that quote, जो अमीर है and जो गरीब है, you want to write that Kshitij on the chat, okay? And मम्मी पापा का तो टाइम गया, अभी जो है हमें सोचना है, हमें करना है. I love that thing because everybody will not be always there to spoon feed you and tell you which is the right direction for you to take it. It's your brain and intelligence and the expertise that you
At the end, it's a personality game.
Yes, agree.
Money will come and go, but the real brain will stay until you die.
Agree. So with that, Twinkle, because Kshitij also talked about this enterprise organization, right? And Shobhit, I'll come after Twinkle to you. So Twinkle, in an enterprise organization, how you have seen, other than your current organization or your previous organization, based on your expertise, you have also worked with Purple Style Labs and few other B2C scenario. How you have seen that AI has been used? What is the transition that an enterprise should be taking when they are mindful and also want to use AI? I mean, there is definitely a propaganda inside that use AI, but being mindful. So any examples from B2C scenario that you want to provide? Yes, please.
See, first of all, I'll like to say that honestly, with those, I'm not talking about the startup, but I'm talking about the bigger organization, maybe TCS, Access, Goldman. There, these traditional enterprises, the transformation is not just technical but also cultural, because like we all like these organizations already have the tools, they have the right people, they have the right data, but I think often the clarity on where the AI will add the real value, there is that shift of mindset that is needed in these kind of organization. So the best thing, like normally how we look at it is that, or as a PM, when I was working on different project, I used to look at things like where the risk is low, but the user impact is really high. For example, the example that I quoted, I used AI because the using like the data that I was providing the AI, it was not exactly any crucial data I provided. I simply provided them with a problem that I was facing. So it was a low risk area from the fact that the data I can provide, not the problem was bigger, but the data that I was sharing with the AI, it was a low risk data, and but it had high impact in the end. So that is where I think like AI can help us to flag frauds, anomalies in any kind of transaction or customer behavior, as Kshitij was also highlighting those facts. And obviously, it can uh, enhance the traditional models or the rule-based system that we already have in existence. Uh, it can't replace the teams. Like we will always have compliance team, we will always have risk teams. I'm not sure if like you are aware about the fintech uh, like like how fintechs work. Every fintech has a, or banks has a risk team, legal team, compliance team, and even a smallest change goes through these teams, and after their approval only we can go live with anything. So um, it can't replace those teams. You also asked, I think, Shobhit, that what is something we can't rely on the AI to do. I think compliance and risk is something where we will need human involvement. I can't rely on AI completely to look at the risk points. So we can use AI, but obviously, like human intervention is always needed. And uh, at the same time, I think we need to, as a PM, needs to build AI intuitiveness, like to understand when AI is right and when AI is wrong. Okay, you know how like in a general situation as a humans, we have an intuitiveness. Okay, this person is right, maybe this person is wrong. Similar to that, we have to build that intuitiveness here as well. And also, I've seen a lot of companies are now having internal AI trainings because PMs are not, in general, uh, not tech savvy, I'll say, but like we don't know how to use it in the correct way. So we have internal trainings which help us to understand that, okay, this is how AI can be used in the correct manner. Um, I'll give you an example here. I've not used it, but you were talking about Purple Sky Labs. So Purple Sky Labs was an e-commerce platform. And in general, e-commerce platform, how they work is they have to be very competitive with the pricing. They have to look at their competitors, how they're pricing an individual article. And normally it's done by category managers. It's not a PM job, but I'll just try make you understand that how it works. So now the category manager can't sit and look at each individual article item, like how the pricing is changing on their competitors. So they use scraping. And earlier they used to do this manually, like they used to download it in an Excel and then compare it. But now they are slowly moving to AI scraping. So what AI does is basically, I'm not sure if people have heard about it. So someone has built also a website where they're comparing the prices for Swiggy, Zepto, and Blinkit. So how they're doing it? They have built an AI scraping tool, which basically pulls the data. It's not a real-time data. Okay. Maybe they will run the script once a day or twice a day. They pull that data, they show it to you on the website. So basically, this is also used by the e-commerce website managers to look at competitor pricing. Okay. Um, so this is a real life example of how e-commerce platforms are using it uh, in a simpler way.
Sorry to interrupt you. I'll go quickly on this one with Shobhit and Kshitij because we are having only 4 more minutes. And I also want to give audience a chance. Audience, please ask questions to these lovely leaders because they come from varied experiences, varied industry. With that, Shobhit, I think there is one question that audience has asked, specifically in the supply chain and the logistics industries, right? How AI is making an impact in terms of improving the customer experiences, and quick 1 minute answer if you can provide. And Kshitij, I will then go next to you because Twinkle has already talked about e-commerce and you have been doing this category manager and comparison of various categories. So where is your take how AI is being utilized there, right? Yeah, go ahead, show it.
Yeah, thanks, Sudiptaa. So that's a very good question, and I would want to simply summarize it together. AI or LLM or any intelligence, they utilize unstructured data and churn out structured data out of it, which can be consumed by humans. Now, it has a lot of role in the overall supply chain logistics management system. So, be it let's say a delivery boy reaching your address precisely, be it you reading the reviews of products before buying it, be it you communicating with the delivery boy, and there is a multiple to and fro communication, be it you sharing your locational information or let's say payment information with the delivery boy. So there are multiple information protocols which are working in their different silos. Now, thanks to AI, it has all come together. Now, with just a text address bank, we can actually generate a Latin long pin thanks to AI. With multiple lat and long pins, we can actually map out a perfect shortest route thanks to AI. So there are so many small steps that undergo when a delivery is sent from a seller to a customer, and all of those steps are continuously being optimized by intelligence, be it machine learning or be it artificial intelligence or be it LLM. So you'll see a lot of impact. And just to summarize this, just compare your current delivery with a delivery that used to happen 10 to 15 years back by a postman. Now, the same postman is doing multiple, the volume of the deliveries, the cost of deliveries, the speed of deliveries, and the customer experience of the deliveries has been enhanced by multi-X's if we just look behind for 2 decades. Now, that's the impact of intelligence coming into your delivery. And this speed is going to increase much more with LLMs coming into the picture.
Thank you, Shobhit. So I will now go to Kshitij. Kshitij, I know it's already 29, and I see there is a question by Amber asking that AI mission for India getting ready on GPU. Anyone want to talk about it? Any speakers? What is AI mission of India, and how are we gearing towards creating GPU?
No idea on that front. GP, no, nothing.
Okay. See, anything that you get you don't get an answer, you have Google. You do your Google and you will find. But India AI mission is there, where we are the way we have come up with our own chip, and we have already started selling it in the other parts of the countries. We are also working on the GPU. India AI mission has 4 main components. The first thing is gathering the right data and also looking into those areas where AI requirement will be needed using those GPUs. Then the second question is, are we really making any real life problem being solved with using GPU? Because GPU takes a lot of CO2. You are actually creating more harm in the environment. You need to be sustainably good for your people, process, and the planet, right? And so you need to be really mindful where to use GPU. Maybe a high game tech organization, high fintech organization, you are doing a trading, stocking, all of those, you may require a GPU, but for a simple AI application, you don't require a GPU, right? So you need to be mindful. The third part of it is that you do an experiment. Pilot is very important for anything. Create something, see how it is being used, how it is being giving you the right outcome, continuously iterate, gather feedback on your pilot, and then you go big. So that's the mass scaling or, like deployment of the GPU. So India has started working on it. India AI mission. If you go to Ministry of India and you search about what is AI's mission in India for, the GPU making, and Modi ji has already talked about many things. And recently there was Startup Mahakumbh in Delhi, where it has been a 3-year, and Piyush, our own, one of the ministry officials, Piyush, he has also talked about what we are doing, what we want to do using GPU, creating more robotics, where we should be focusing on. But you can gather more information on this. We now go to Kshitij, to you, your one quick point on the e-commerce in the category management, where you see AI's use. And with that, we'll be closing our scenario. There is a feedback form that has been asked. Please do your due diligence, audience, filling up the feedback form, and let us know if you want to hear from us on such forums. We'll be creating it again in the next few months, and would love to be you in touch. So with that, Kshitij, go ahead. Your final take on that, on the category.
In e-commerce, again, AI and all those things play a very important role. And the one thing that you said, basically including the analytics part of it. For example, in last of the firm we did was we had all the so it's about Moglix. The name of the firm was Moglix, and we were trying to develop something new that's in the Indian e-commerce space. So we started brainstorming, developing new categories. But in the process, what we did was we were not using analytics, I would say here, because at that point in 7-8 years, there was no AI at that point in time. So analytics would be synonymous to AI. There were people who search a lot of items, and you do not have that as an organization, as an Amazon, as a Moglix, as a Flipkart, you do not have SKUs for them. As a category manager, we started developing from putting those SKUs in our platform, and the result of that was our sales, when the banner and everything goes out, it's offshooted. And gardening, which was one of my categories, became one of the first profitable category. In just to set the context to our audience, in e-commerce mostly the prices are burned. So if you're in the as less negative, you are a successful category. This is my understanding from the word I came from. But it was like 0.3, 0.4, 0.5% gardening, though it was a very limited percent. But coming from doing something new in the platform, in the Moglix and the website, and for the new category, it's a great success. So you have to be, think again and you have to use AI as a add-on rather than a dependency. Here you have to be independent.
Great. Audience, I think last 90 minutes we had been discussing and gathering many insights. I personally found it very, very insightful and enriching, listening to all these industry leaders. And I'm sure that audience, you have also made an effort asking and responding the questions that I have asked, and you have also asked the question to the audience. I really want you to, let us know how did you feel. If you can write something on the chat, that really makes our Sunday a memorable one. And it also helps all the speakers who came up Sunday early morning, and then, they have all been prepared. They have been also giving you a lot of live answers, which were very, very impromptu ones. So what you really think, I think that would be a really gratitude for all of us, that, what you have felt, what you have thought, and what is one key takeaway that you are using from this session would be. So please write it on the chat. And I see Eduinx has also mentioned that there is a special offer for the session that, Shorterloop and Eduinx are going to do. In May, we are starting the session. Again, 20 hours and 6 months. You can ask more questions. You can pay later, but no risk as such. If you want to know more, please reach out. Please do fill in your form. We really want to hear your genuine feedback from this product management conclave, and that gives us, really inspiration to do it the next one in the coming month. With that, the lovely summer and has set in, and there are a lot of cold drinks and there are a lot of cool things to do. With that, I really would like to tell you, take rest, have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you soon. All our LinkedIn profiles, Shobhit, Kshitij, Twinkle, if you want to chat and share it with the audience, please do it. And Eduinx also has my LinkedIn ID, so you can all search by our name and get in touch. And any offline questions, we are there to support you. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure meeting you online and having all these lovely speakers. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, Kiran. It's really good to see all the chats, and I am really, having my gratitude to all the speakers and the audience who has been asking questions. So yes, please, I think it makes my day, and I'm sure for all the speakers. So with that, we'll just stay for a quick 1 or 2 minutes for you to fill in the forms. And with that, take rest, and we'll be back with another blockbuster product management conclave next month, maybe, or we can do it, whenever you want us to. Yeah. Thank you so much. Kavya there. Hello, ma'am. Yeah, Kavya. Just 1 more minute, and I think if audience has given their response, otherwise you send an email and gather their feedback. I think we can close the session. Yeah.
Thank you so much for the insightful session, ma'am.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm shutting down my laptop. See you on Monday. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.